Okay, so now it's time to work on our next skill, which is sharing a data form. So you don't want to send just the link. So you don't want to send this link up here at the top to families, just because then they would be in the editing phase of the form and you don't want them in that. So what you're going to do instead is we're going to go through these different steps. First off, it's always good to check your work. So in order to see what families would see, hit the little eye up here, and this is what it's going to look like to your families. So you might have a family member that could potentially get out their phone right there in front of you and start filling this in so they have given you the information that you need at open house. So check your work, make sure it's how you would want it. Then your next step is going to be you're going to come over to settings. And in settings, you're going to want to do a few different things. First off, I do not collect email addresses whenever I'm sending it to parents. And the reason why is because then they have to be able to sign into Gmail. Well, they might not have a Gmail account. Then it gets kind of messy. Also, I have to uncheck restrict to users in the Cedar Rapids Community School District and its trusted organizations. You have to uncheck that, otherwise parents would not be able to fill in the form. Limit to one response. Whenever I'm doing parent forms, I don't limit to one response. A lot of times whenever I am trying to get like data from students and stuff, I tell them only one response, like if I'm trying to find out what video they class votes for or things like that. Whenever I do send it to parents, however, I do allow them to edit after they submit it. I do not allow them to see summary charts and text responses because then they'll be able to see other parents' answers. So you definitely don't want to do that. In presentation, yes, I do allow them to allow it to show a link to submit another response so that they can go back and change things if they're like, oh, I didn't do that right. Progress bars are always nice because people like to know where they are in there. Shuffle question order really doesn't apply here, but you can put a confirmation message. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to working with you this year. Okay, then I could look at quizzes. Now, I do not want to make this a quiz. If I make this a quiz, then it turns into a whole nother thing. So if it's just simply data gathering, it makes no sense to make it a quiz. So we will get into that eventually. Now with this, you have to hit save to save the changes that you made. All right, go ahead, stop the video if you'd like to, and take a second and try it out. All right. So now it's time to actually practice sending it. So you're going to go up here to this box and you're going to hit send. Okay. Since we are not sending it to students necessarily, this you do not want this to be checked. So just ignore that. It does automatically default to sending it out via email. You can do it this way, but it really doesn't give you an opportunity for like BCCing it or anything like that. So I generally don't send it out via email. This is for embedding, so it gives you a code to actually embed it in a website. If you're that advanced, feel free to do it. If not, understandable. What I like to do is I like to get a link. So this link will allow families to be able to fill it in. All that you do is you go down here, you hit copy. Another item that you can do is you can shorten the URL and make it into this shorter version that I might put on like a syllabus or something. So if a family needs to physically type it into their phone, they can do that. I've encountered some families that know how to use QR codes, and then I've found some families that don't. So always having the address available for them to type in is a good thing. Another thing I do sometimes is I will run it through Bitly, and I did on the HyperDoc have a link that will kind of walk you through that process as well. So I hit copy. Go ahead, take a second and try that out. Then another thing that I like to have done, like you to do, is I'd like you to actually try practicing sending it out. So I go to my email and I would type in a teacher friend of some sort, and I'm calling it practice. I'm sending you this link to practice how I would distribute this to parents, and then you just paste the link, and that's all it is. And you hit send, and it will send it to your teacher friend. The last thing I want to share with you about data gathering forms is how you go about accessing your responses. As families would respond to your open house survey, you would see a little number pop up here saying how many families have responded. In order to look at the responses, you click response, and it will tell you the answers for as many different questions as you have. One of the things I really like about Google Forms is the fact that you can change everything into a spreadsheet, all the answers. So if I click here, it asks me if I want to create a new spreadsheet. I hit create, and then it links a spreadsheet. So anytime I click, it'll be the same spreadsheet. You can go ahead and add filters to it and such, and you'd be able to sort the spreadsheet based on the information. So that's another great tool, a great way to be able to organize and process information.